20th, our 20th top movies.
God, we get some of the wholesome movies here. Oh Christ, A Clockwork Orange. Here we go again.
Yeah, right. Okay. So, Yoda's the Thing. I'm Clockwork Orange. Sean is Jaws, and Matt is very low. He's Return of the Jedi. Who wants to go first? Go on, Yoda. You go first. The Thing. Tell us about the Thing.
Well, I mean, we kind of talked about it. So I don't want to go too much into it. I just basically agree with everything those guys said. Ditto. It's just perfect movie.
This is the first time we've had a duplicate.
Yeah. It is. But perfect movie.
Perfect movie, man.
Great, people you thought you could trust, and then you can't trust them anymore, and all that tenseness, and then when you add in Botton's special effects,
I do believe there's an excellent video on it on our YouTube channel, isn't there?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sean, Jaws.
Dude, it's fucking Jaws, man. Probably another a perfect horror. Yeah, a perfect horror movie, just like The Thing, really. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything for everybody.
Kind of the fact that it made so many people go swimming in the sea afterwards.
I tell you what, I mean, it even has gunfire in it, and it's a movie about sharks. It's you got nudity, you got death and blood and guts, and a dude that gives a great speech about the Indianapolis, and
I honestly think it's the camaraderie between the three and the more of the hunt. Then I think everybody misunderstood what made Jaws great. It was all about they turned it into Jason of the Sea, and it's like that's the first Jaws was not that. It was was different.
Have you guys ever heard John Milius talking about when Robert Shaw had to do that Indianapolis speech, and he comes in to do it, and he's drunk. Spielberg wants him to do it, a practice run, and he had just got busted by his wife for nailing the babysitter, and he starts giving a speech. He's like, it says it's got dead black eyes like your wife when she catches you with the babysitter, and it tears into you just like your wife and the nanny after she, and it's so funny. I wish I could remember it or pull it up somehow.
Just as an aside here, I wish I could see it. I guess there's a play that is kind of a stage play with those three actors playing those three playing in Jaws, and all the arguments and stuff that went on when the camera was off, and it's just something that's like I would really love to see that, but it's not around here. So
it's actually Sean's son as well, isn't it? Playing the part his dad played.
Oh, really?
Oh, is it? Oh, right.
Yeah, it's actually his son who looks just like him. Because I looked at him, I was like, my God, he's a dead ringer, and it's actually his boy.
That's unfortunate. It is. That's unfortunate for him.
Well, hang on. Before the shark attack or after? Before the shark attack or after?
After.
He just dragged himself on with no legs. Matt, Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, well, it would be higher up. I think the Ewoks let it down a little bit without going too much, but yeah, great film.
To be fair,
I can't say any more about it.
To be fair, we'll hold off on that one because Sean has got it in his top 5. So
a spoiler.
I maintain that movie is the reason why furries exist now.
Great film, and the whole franchise should have ended there.
Yeah, it ended Luke's story perfectly. I think it was weak on trying to figure out what to do with Han and Leia. And if it wasn't for the gold bikini, they would have Leia had nothing to do. So
to me, I put it in as I put it in as Return of the Jedi, but like as Star Wars the trilogy. But Return of the Jedi is my favorite for the two reasons that I love it when Luke says to the Emperor, that I am a father like my Jedi before me. Somebody's calling me; they can stop off.
That's your mum again, isn't it?
No. It's actually somebody who probably wants me for work on a Sunday night, so it's not good.
Bill collector.
I just need somebody to come in on me, and we'll have all four have been interrupted during the stream.
And the other bit is when it's the Falcon in the second Death Star. You sit there on the edge of your seat as the flames are chasing him up, and it's fantastic. Okay, let's move on. 19.
It's all right.
You missed yours, Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Clockwork Orange. My Clockwork Orange. I love Kubrick. I don't care. I love Kubrick. I think he the man. I genuinely put him in the class of genius. And Clockwork Orange is just one of those movies that is It's nuts. It's bizarre. It's crazy, but it's so unbelievably well done. The dialogue is just beautiful throughout the whole thing, and just I absolutely love A Clockwork Orange. I think it's brilliant. Sean,
Sean, I think people are trying to escape from your basement.
I can't help it. There's my brother is over here visiting, and the dog loves my brother, and they're both idiots. I don't know what to say to them.
What's going on? Are we looking bestiality happening in the background out there?
So he loved his brother a long time.
Cry for help from your dog.
Draw your own conclusions.
I love Clockwork Orange. The soundtrack, everything about it is brilliant. I think it's a great.
It's a great movie.
I'm with you on that one. It's got a lot of rape in it.
It does.
Yeah, it does. A bit of the old in and out.
Weirdly, it's almost a comedy satire.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very arousing.
Anyway, 19. Let's go to 19.
Okay, 19's a little special. We got our first duplicate.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
So Yoda and Sean sitting in a tree. No, both like aliens. I've put down a Razorhead, and we got Blade Runner there for Matt. So we've talked about Blade Runner, Matt. So we'll give that one a skip. But I mean, on. Sean and Yoda, aliens.
Yoda, you go ahead. You probably got more to say about it than I will.
Yeah, I just think Cameron knew how to take this first movie, which was a slasher movie in space. It's basically what it was. A very well done one, don't get me wrong, but and he expanded on it, and he grew the character of Ripley so well and did it by making her a mother. And she lost her daughter. And by the way, I think the extended cut is the one you need to watch.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But they show that her daughter had grown old and then passed away. And so when she meets Newt and she becomes this motherly, strong woman, but not strong like she's flipping aliens over her head, but like she's smart enough to arm the fuck up and, learn how to use this stuff. And then you have Hicks, which is Bean's just wonderful take on the character.
The father
figure. Yeah, you end up there. And then you have, I love Burke because Burke kind of comes across you almost like the first time you see it, at least at that time, you think, okay, this guy is like, maybe he's on their side because, the way the company was before, and that will be the twist. But no, the twist is that the android is on their side.
Nobody thought Burke was the good guy, and I'll tell you why. Because
I was 16, man.
He's obviously Jewish, so we know that he's going to
take you off of this fucking stream.
I can't believe Matt said that.
Yeah. Says the guy with Dr. David Duke in his title there. Anyway,
he's great. He's the great. Yeah, he's like the great real villain of the piece,
He is. And then throw in there some of the greatest action, and every character, them. They all have enough little quirks and stuff that you remember every one of them, from game over, man, game over, to Vasquez, to all of them.
Have you ever been mistaken for a man? No. Have you?
Nope.
Great line in the movie.
I still cannot get over that Vasquez was the mother from Terminator 2.
I know, it's bizarre.
Yep. It's so weird
as well.
She's also in Near Dark as one of the vampires.
How has she not been canceled?
I don't know. Because she retired and they can't cancel her anymore.
Yeah, what are they gonna do?
Or probably because she doesn't give a shit. She can't cancel people that don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so going on from go on.
Just to say and on top of it, one of the greatest action movies ever made. So
absolutely,
I think it was great because it was so different from Alien, but so well done. They're almost completely two entirely different genres, but they did it.
But easily part of the same universe.
Did you guys, when you guys watched it back then? I at the time as a kid, it was more of a horror movie to me back then. Years later, as I got older, it's obviously an action movie too, but the horror elements in it are still pretty strong. Would you disagree with that? I mean,
I would say one of the greatest scares I would probably put on my list is when that face hugger comes to moves in the jar.
Yeah,
got me good the first time.
I think it's in love, Burke.
Yeah,
love at first sight is what he says, isn't it?
Love at first sight.
Yeah.
My one on the list is a really weird one. Is David Lynch's Eraserhead, which I watched.
That's a dog shit movie, man.
I have a soft spot for. I don't like art house movies, but I have a soft spot for David Lynch. I don't like all his stuff, but I do like David Lynch. And I remember it was years ago. It was on some random TV program, some celebrity. I can't even remember who they were. They're probably dead now. But they said that their favorite one was Eraserhead, and I wanted to check it out. And I remember just watching it, and I had the VHS, and I watched it over and over and over again. And it creeped me out, and it was weird, and it was bizarre. But I love it. I think it's a brilliant. It's because ultimately it's about fatherhood and David Lynch confronting his own fears of fatherhood. But it's just done in such a bizarre, weird David Lynch type way. It's certainly not everyone's cup of tea, but I like it.
Pretentious is the word you're looking for.
Nah, it's not pretentious.
That's Lynch.
It is to anybody with an IQ under room temperature. Let's go on.
I just want to know what the hell that frickin' baby was.
That's the thing. It was David Lynch's fear of raising a child. In
actuality, I want to know what the hell that was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's now doing very well in Hollywood executives circles. So number 18. Is it 18? Yes, 18. We've got Yoda's got The Shining. I've got Jaws. Sean's got Terminator, and Matt has got Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan. So go on, Yoda. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining.
Well, you said earlier, Stanley Kubrick is the man, and he understood Stephen King's work better than Stephen King did, in my opinion.
Yeah. From the fact that Stephen King didn't like that movie tells you quite a lot.
Tells you quite a lot. And
the book is dog shit. The book is dog shit. How it got to be so popular, I have no idea.
It's certainly the bones are there because Kubrick was able to find it. But it's just a masterclass in atmosphere and dread. There's only one death in the whole damn thing, which is one of the most hilarious deaths in its own way. It's like this poor guy, he tries so hard, treks halfway across the country, walks in, I'm here,
turns out
dead. I'm gone. So, but it's the idea of the family unit just getting torn apart like that, and then you have all these really bizarre imagery that should not be there. Most of it, pseudo-sexual and things like that. It's just, Kubrick just did such a fantastic job, and he never has to use one shaky cam. It's great.
I think it's one of those films where I genuinely think every single frame means something.
Yep.
There's not every, because apparently there are scenes where they're like there's chairs missing in the background, and when they cut back they're there, and other sort of things like this that people have kind of read all these different things into, and I think Kubrick did it for a reason, but just kind of never explained to anybody what they were.
Moon landings, that's what that was about.
Oh, absolutely. There is a whole.
Yeah.
Oh, no. If you've seen a film called Apartment 237, there is a whole
I have.
We know
conspiracy
everybody.
theory.
Yeah, we know. Let's move on from that. Yeah.
So, I had Jaws. We've talked about that. Sean, Terminator, the original Terminator.
Dude, one of the greatest movies ever made. You got Michael Biehn in it. Probably one of the greatest on-screen heroes and one of the greatest on-screen villains for a horror movie. It's a slasher love story. You got the Terminator's based. It's a slasher chase movie. It really is. And then, you got the love story of Reese coming back to get Sarah. It's just great.
Well, he takes a slasher movie and he underpins it with a mythology that just makes you want to see more. And then they made more, and we went, "Oh no, don't do that anymore."
The bit that gets me about it is the fact that Michael Biehn was able to pull and have sex with Sarah Connor, even though he was wearing a dirty tramp's under trousers for the entire film.
Yeah, imagine that.
He should have caught herpes just by putting those on.
Yeah, I think it's superior to Terminator 2, as good as Terminator 2 is.
That's a bold statement.
Oh, that's silence.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I don't I don't know that I agree, but then I don't know I disagree. It's like I can't really decide
think,
which one is better.
If Terminator 2, Edward Furlong was an older kid in it and could do more, and wasn't this one? It's very dated. T2 is pretty dated for the early 90s, I think.
I'll tell you what. I was going to say T2 we are going to talk about because it does come up on the list somewhere. Later.
Another spoiler.
I'm not spoiling that much. Bloody hell.
I'm just not even going to talk about my. Phil wants to interrupt me in the middle. I just never mind.
No, fine. Carry on, Sean. We're all fascinated.
Matt,
take my dog and go home.
Matt, when my movie comes up, you just fill in for me, and I'll sit here and nod my head or whatever.
Okay.
Star Trek 2: The Wrath of Khan, Matt.
Amazing. Obviously, I'm a big Star Trek fan anyway, but it's just. Some will say it's probably the greatest sequel ever made. It's obviously arguable, but it's just tremendous. Tremendous film. I think the first one missed a little bit of Star Trek magic, kind of went up itself a little bit, and then to come back with Star Trek 2.
I love the whales in that movie.
Fucking wows. Yeah, it's a great film.
Star Trek 2, greatest Trek movie still ever made. Period.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I think you're dead right there. It's tremendous. It's fantastic. And I'll tell you what, I'm not an emotional person at all, but the scene with Spock and Kirk at the end
makes you tear up a little bit.
Well, if I had tear ducts, it would, but I don't because I'm an alpha. But
this is where I would be crying if I had to.
That would really get to me.
Yeah,
I'm very impressed with that. That was pretty cool, by the way.
Star Trek 2 is good. It is a belter. Again, it may come up on the list later. We don't know.
Bumperback Kimball Patch is great in it as Khan.
Number 17 then, please, Yoda. Yoda's got Casablanca. I've got the original Matrix. Sean's got First Blood, and then Godfather Part 2 from Matt. I'll go first on the Matrix. The original Matrix it changed so much, with what they did with the bullet time motion and everything else.
It changed as much as the Wachowski sisters.
It was a brilliant film made by two men who were excellent. The original. They were killed and replaced. We don't know why. By evil robots. But no, the original was just, again, it's a story which was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it was fantastic because it was kind of, I know this is obviously a stupid thing to say, but Elon Musk has sort of said that, technology is moving on, that the fact that of creating a virtual reality world which you could live in, it's not beyond the realms of possibility. But the bit that really gets me about it is Agent Smith, when he says about humans, and he said, I have tried to clash your species, and you're more like a virus, how you move to an area and eat, and just it's brilliant. I absolutely love the Matrix. It's such a shame that I kind of, when I watch the Matrix, I kind of have to watch 2 and 3, and then I always annoyed that I watched 2 and 3 because I should just leave it at the first one.
Just stop at 1, man.
Yeah, and then don't even get me started on 4.
I thought that speech of Smith's was about immigrants.
Yeah, humans.
Let me guess what he says. It's the smell. That's the part. That's where you start going.
Oh my God, you're so racist. I can't believe you said that.
No, I just know you. I just know you.
I hadn't thought of that joke, but I wish I did. I wished I did. I'm not gonna lie.
I hate myself now.
Yoda, Casablanca.
I just never. I find something in it every time, and I just love it. I think it gets. The one thing that probably keeps it from going any higher in the list is because I think that the flashback scene goes a little too long, but some of the great moments are great. I never not laugh when the German guy says, fine excuse, but we need to shut this place down. It's like, all right, we're shutting this place down. Why? I'm shocked to find there's gambling in this establishment. The guy runs up. Here's your winnings, sir. Oh, thank you. It gets me every time. It's so awesome.
I have only ever seen Casablanca once, and I didn't didn't connect with me. I probably
Claude
need to watch
Rains,
it.
I think, is the unsung hero in that movie. His dry wit and his real what would I call it? Just deadpan, jaded, cynical, but he just manages to just keep things going, and he doesn't. It's hilarious, and then both of them at the end find purpose in their life. As far as fighting the Nazis, I think there's more to it than just unrequited romance, and that's. I think people always talk about Rick and Elsa, and I was like, oh, I love the beautiful friendship stuff. I love it. It's great.
Gay, so gay.
That's because you're woke.
Matt, you put down Godfather 2.
Yeah, amazing.
The godson.
It's obviously it's nowhere near as good as the first one, but it's like I said about Star Trek 2, arguably one of the greatest sequels ever made. Fucking brilliant.
Okay.
It is
start
great,
to finish.
It
From
is
start
great.
to finish.
Have you ever seen?
Tell me you got bored, Phil. You got bored with it.
Have you ever seen the Godfather Saga, which is all of them edited together in chronological, the stories and so it starts out with all of Robert De Niro's parts, and then it cuts into the Pacino stuff. Have you ever seen it? It's called the Godfather Saga.
I haven't.
Yeah, it's not been shown very many times. Yeah. Anyway, a little side.
Again,
have a look.
I have seen it, but I remember it was good. But again, it's something I need to revisit because it's been many years since I've watched all three of them. The third one's good too, as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the third one is good.
First one gets slagged off, but it's all right.
The third one is a good. The re-edit of it here recently too it makes it it's a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. The third one's fine. It's not. Is it equal?
Right.
It's
I think the bar was set so high, Sean, with number 1 and number 2 that to get all three at that level was near on impossible.
It's Return of the Jedi. Good in its own right, but not where the other two were.
I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Sean, your number 17 was First Blood.
You want to take it away, Matt, so he doesn't interrupt? Or should I talk about it?
I love that movie. It's freaking great.
No, go on, Sean. Carry on.
You sure? Is it okay?
Yeah.
So Vietnam vet.
Yoda, number 16 is
Got him.
Oof.
Cannot believe you fell for that.
Got him.
That was applause. Very good. Very well done, sir.
Got him.
Be sure to tip your waitress.
He did that. Whitey bitch deserved it. Go ahead, Sean.
No. I'm not in the mood. I'm leaving.
I'll tell you what, then I'll talk about it. So this gay boy.
That was a part that Brian Dennehy was born to play as the prick sheriff.
Yeah.
And it's just great. The ambush scene where he takes out the cops one at a time in the forest. Man, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
It is.
Sean, I'm going to say, I think that Stallone's finest work was his nervous breakdown at the end.
Oh, absolutely. Very naturalistic performance.
I'm serious. It is so heartbreaking. And it's what makes that movie elevate from an action movie to something far more.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that the others became cartoons. He literally became a Saturday morning cartoon character. This vet with PTSD who murdered people is a Saturday morning. I love the 80s.
He doesn't kill anybody in the first one. He fucks him up.
Yeah, it's true. One guy fell from the helicopter because of his own stupidity.
Yeah.
But it's. I agree with you 100% on this one.
It's a perfect movie. I would call it a perfect movie because
I think so.
It's a very good character study on a guy that, a little bit unfortunate because it advanced the crazy Vietnam vet stereotype of the time, but it's still good. It's great though.
I do remember the stuntman talking about diving off the cliff into the trees and saying how he broke a leg, and it was kind of like, what was the plan? And he said, don't know, just dove into the trees.
I've thought about that movie several times, and I've often thought, I wonder if at 2 points in the movie when he decides to go back into town and he gets arrested, and when he jumps from that, I've often thought, like, was he trying to get himself killed both of those times, knowing the result? Because the sheriff, it's like his friend died, he's got nothing left. is he go back into the town to provoke a fight and get himself killed. And when he dies off the cliff, he's like into that tree. He's like, there's no way out of this. And did he jump? And then the tree just so happened to catch his fall in that case, because he's very suicidal. He's obviously kind of
he doesn't care.
I don't think in the jump on the cliff he was, but I do think you're right. When he got to the town, I think he knew it was no way out at that point, and he wanted revenge, and he didn't care if he got killed. But
it wasn't a pride thing at that point. I think he was just like, you know what? Yeah.
What, was he like
I feel like at the cliff he was like, well, let's give this a try. I think I can make it. I don't think it was like I won't try to kill myself. I just don't want to get shot on the edge of a cliff.
Yeah.
It's again a brilliant movie. Brilliant.
It is.
Yoda, if we can have 16, please. Terminator 2 Judgment Day by Matt. What's that say? Willy Boy? No?
Tell him Willy Boy was here. Yeah.
Tell him Willy Boy was here. Sorry for Sean. Terminator 2, another match up there with Yoda. And I've got RRR, which is probably the most modern film in the whole list.
Oh, it's got to be.
Just to say. Sean, tell us about Tell Them Willy Boy was here. Because I must admit, I've not heard of this.
No,
it's a great Western. It made in the 70s, so it's sort of got that modernistic twist from the Vietnam War background kind of informing, but it's based on a true story of this indigenous loser that comes out of prison, and the tribe that he belongs to, they believe in marriage by kidnap. So he beds a squaw, and her dad comes out to catch him, and he accidentally kills her dad in the process, and it's self-defense. But so they take off across California to try to get away, and Robert Redford is the local sheriff, and he's in charge of the reservation, and so he puts a posse together, and they go chasing Willy Boy, and it's a great story. It was an amazing true story that this Indian and this woman, they go, I forget how many miles across basically California desert and into the mountains and stuff. And it's a great movie, guys. It's a fucking it's a lesser known classic nowadays, but let me tell you, not only is it a good story, but it's got some of the most beautiful cinematography you'll ever see in it. I reviewed it for the site a long time ago, and I'm sure you all ignored it, but you should definitely check it out. It is a great, Matt. It's great, Matt. You should legit check it out, man.
You know what I did? I looked at everyone's lists, and there was quite a few on there that I've never even seen or heard of. And I've got a separate list now with, like you said, Yoda, a mounting list of things to watch. But that was definitely on there.
Are you into those 70s westerns, Sean? I mean, do you have affinity for them, or just a few? Because I'm surprised you put this in like Butch and Sundance to get on there or something like that.
No, not really. Just a few, but the ones that are more serious minded, I get. So on this list, spoilers, is the Wild Bunch, and so I like the Wild Bunch, that the Professionals, and there's a few, but not really. It's.
Have you ever seen the Life and Times of the Judge Roy Bean?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
You and I may have to have a conversation on that one.
Fair enough. Who else? Oh, so okay, you guys talk about Terminator 2, and then Sean will tell you what's wrong with it.
Well, okay, so I was one of the things I said about Top Gun Maverick is that it was Terminator 2, insofar as Terminator 2 is exactly the same story as Terminator. However, they added one or two things that upped the stakes a little bit, and then they really polished off the special effects. And so I think Terminator 2 is probably a better movie, although it depends on what day you catch me. I love them both. I think they're both excellent. I really love the cinematography in both the Terminator movies. The after that, like 3 on up, they get way too colorful, and I love all the muted blues and things like that. Or when they're in the smelting plant, it's all hot oranges and things like.
Let me. I'm sorry, but I got it. The amazing thing about it is the lighting on the Terminator and Sarah Connor used into the film. And as the Terminator becomes more human, the blue goes away and you get more orange, whereas Sarah there for a while gets more blue. And then at the end, you know,
I didn't know that.
The smelting plant, he's always lived very warmly, you know. And because when she goes to kill Dyson, it foreshadows the Terminator. You know, she's got the black glasses on, she's got the red dot on laser, and you know, it's very evocative of the first movie and the Technor scene. And it's got a lot going on in it that it's more than just an action movie.
I like the director's cut a little bit better because I like the idea that, well, for one, there's a really brilliant scene as far as practical effects, because I don't know if you guys know this, Linda Hamilton has a twin sister. And so they have her pulling a chip out of Arnold Schwarzenegger's head, but it's a dummy, and then he's sitting in front of a mirror, and he's behind the mirror with the twin pretending to work on his head. It's a really fantastic shot with done with just matching their movements and stuff.
And it's a great bit of Terminator lore in it too, because they take the chip
because
out
she turns it to from read only to read right. He can learn and grow, and that's what kicks him off getting some emotions as he goes on through the story. It never made sense to me why he would just simply do that. He just explains he's a learning computer, but it's like, I like that Skynet keeps their Terminators in line by changing it to read only. I mean, so there's a little bit extra stuff in there I really like.
The best is the Ultimate Skynet edition, where you get the Blu-ray, you have to input a code, and it's everything they ever cut out of the movie put back in, and it's the longest cut, and it's worth it. There's not, it's James Cameron's. There's nothing. Anything that was excised for the theatrical cut and whatnot was only for time purposes. It did not. The extended cut is a superior movie.
I mean, it's no Piranha, but for James Cameron, I think it does.
I saw a great meme. I saw a great meme, and it said about the bit when Robert Patrick was in the behind the in the mental hospital when he walks through the bars. There's a meme go around saying that scene was actually improvised by Robert Patrick, and it was so good that James Cameron kept it in the film. I'm going to mention just quickly RRR. I was unbelievably blown away by how good this movie was. It's easily in my top movie of this year. It was just, everybody kept raving about it, and I thought it can't be as good as what everybody says. It was this epic saga, and you can't sort of break it down into a small chunk. It's basically about how evil the British were when they moved to India and took over, and basically a young girl gets sold into slavery for a couple of pence. So one of the guys who lives in that village goes to try and find her, but you find out that an Indian policeman is out to stop him, and they don't know each other when they first meet. They actually become friends. And this film is, people kept saying it's not really a Bollywood, but it kind of is, because there is sort of song and music's in there, but there's also this like massive scene where all these animals attack an army, and there's one bit where somebody fights with a motorbike, and the whole thing is just, there's a complete and utter suspension of disbelief. But this story is just, I absolutely loved RRR. If you get a chance to watch it, it's brilliant.
Sounds
brilliant.
Boring. Sounds
it's
boring.
Not.
You lost me when you said about the English being evil.
Yeah, me too. I toned down immediately. I was like,
yeah, but doesn't he throw a leopard at a guy? I mean, what else do you need? Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, you're selling.
I'm not kidding. He throws a leopard at a person to kill him. I'm like, I'm in. What are you talking about?
The first time you meet the guy, he's hunting a wolf, and he kind of covers himself with blood, and then he's running through this jungle waiting for this wolf to catch him, and then a tiger turns up and kills the wolf, and then the tiger starts chasing him, and he doesn't fight the tiger. It's very well done. It's just, honestly, it's worth watching. I tell you how much I loved RRR. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. It's ridiculous.
What's the incident of people in India with tiger blood, to use Yoda's term?
AIDS?
Well, I wasn't going to say it.
I could see the blank look on their faces, so I just went for it.
No.
I'm sorry.
That was a callback. That was
even I kind of got the subtlety of that, but Yoda's just like, what? They've all got AIDS? Everybody in India's got AIDS. Oh, right, yeah, I suppose. I don't know.
Thank you for watching this excerpt from Outpost Frequencies. Tune in live every Sunday at noon Central Time or 6 o'clock UK time. And also, remember to come to lastmovieoutpost.com for all your latest in movie news, streaming news, and everything cool about film. We are the cool news now. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next stream.